What's up, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at the Foosh's Articulated Icons Ninjas. These are just the ninjas here. I do have a martial artist, which I will get to, but for right now, we're just going to kind of discuss the ninjas and kind of go through everything here with them. The two ninjas I've had for quite a while, I want to say about a year and a half, is Solitaire right here, the all black guy with the red goggles. And then we have, which is pretty much Ryu Hayabusa at this point. I believe this was just the regular deluxe ninja. I'm not sure if he was a deluxe technically. I think he was just a regular ninja. But he came with extra accessories, a couple extra accessories. He came with 2 commas, came with a dagger, he came with 2 swords, and he came with this piece right here that the white ninja's holding right now. Just because I didn't have a designation for that, and I kind of just wanted to recreate the Ryu Hayabusa look from Ninja Gaiden. So not too bad, and seeing now for the prices that he goes for is just absurd. I think it's somewhere like anywhere from 50 to like $90, which is just stupid. These are not $90 figures. They're not $50 figures, really. So I would definitely not pay those aftermarket prices. And the reason why I'm really kind of hammering home the pricing in the beginning of this video is just because that was the major gripe as to why I just was not collecting these. So I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited. And recently, the Foosh had a sale, and if you guys were inclined enough to check out my my live stream recently, a few days ago, per the date of this video, I actually pointed out that they still had the sale going up until Labor Day, and now that sale is no longer. I still think they have a couple of the basic ninjas up for like $11.99, but you definitely have to check their website. I don't know how frequently they update that or if they're changing it, but they did have a August sale, and I was able to pick up martial artists, these 2 ninjas right here. What was it? I can't remember. The white ninja and the black ninja here, which is technically the Midnight Whisper, the clan of the Midnight Whisper. Right here. The red mask and the red sash around his neck actually came with the white ninja, the Shokin ninja, that was his name. And the 2 blue ninjas were just kind of army builders, essentially. A lot of these guys are army builders. Shokin is actually his own character. Solitaire is his own character. And there's a couple others, like the martial artist I have, which I'll discuss in a little bit, is also his own character as well. But all of that aside, like I said, the reason why I kind of wanted to make this video is because I was able to get these all on that sale price. He was $23.99. I believe he was $23.99, and these 2 were $11.99. And I believe the martial artist was also $23.99. So I don't mind paying that price, the $23.99 or the $11.99 for even army builders, because that's a great price point for what you're getting. You are getting really good articulation, really good range of motion. I feel like the range of motion would be even better if they included butterfly joints on these figures. Especially them being martial artists and ninjas, you would want that butterfly joint so they can really articulate those arms even more so. I do have some quality control concerns with some of them, and I'm just going to kind of set him aside and get this going so you guys aren't just staring into... just staring at the figures stagnant the whole time. And I'll just kind of use this guy as an example here. Oh, and there goes one. And there they all go. So like I said, for that $11.99 price point, I don't have an issue even with the kind of quality control concerns that I have with some of these. With some figures, it's not as bad as other figures. I have noticed that. I want to say right off the bat, the thing that I noticed at the fastest rate was the wrists, which I'm sure a lot of people have pointed out in the past, but I feel like I have to, as a reviewer, point this out. These wrists are so loose on the gripping hands. And the fact that they're this loose on a gripping hand is really, really, really piss poor. I'm just being honest here. With any of the other hands, like these kind of hands, these kind of like, or I don't know, gesturing hands, and then you have a karate chop hand. You also have a fist hand, and you have a kind of spread out finger hand, like he's throwing something or he's balancing or something like that. All of those hands seat a lot better on the peg than these hands. For some reason, these hands solely do not sit deep enough on that peg, so these are just kind of wobbling around, and it doesn't really take that much force to pop them off. It really doesn't. It's almost like they're so loose that they want to almost fall off the peg. So you kind of have to have them in a specific area. And by that, I mean, if he's holding a sword, you really can't the sword can't be too heavy, or his hand's going to want to fall almost right out. Like, it really does not take that much to pull that out or move that. And then you'll see like the hands kind of loosely wobble. And this is like a brand new figure. I just got this like 2 or 3 days ago. So it's not the excuse of I've had it for a while, but you know, no. You guys all know how much I hate loose joints. I would rather have the tightest locked up joint over a loose joint, just because of the longevity of the figure. The fortunate thing is that the other hands work great. It's just these damn gripping hands. But a lot of the gripping hands you're going to be using for weapons, so it's like you can't win with some of these. The other thing I've noticed is these really loose thigh swivels right here, and then the overly tight hip joints when you get them straight out of package. I mean, they're super tight. I've had even locked up knee joints that I've had on. I think it's actually this guy. His top of his knee joint will not loosen up, and I've even used boiling water, and it still won't. Oh, there it goes. It finally loosened up, and I have heated this thing up like 4 times, and now it just finally let loose. There's a couple others that have locked up knee joints as well, and it kind of is worrisome to the point. But I'd rather it be locked up than loose as shit. Because once a figure's like really loose like that, it's almost damn near useless. Unless you get some floor polish. But who wants to do that every time with their figure? It just gets annoying at that point. Maybe that's why these were on sale, because they realized that they had a lot of quality control concerns with them. So maybe that's the reason why they did that. That sale, just to kind of get rid of the old ones. Maybe they're going to make some new ones, new batch, new better tooling or whatever. But that's kind of some of the issues. Like I said, some loose joints on them. It's mostly the hands, these gripping hands, the thigh swivels, and even the ankle pegs are overly shallow on these feet. Some of them just want to pop right off, and maybe I'm using him as a bad example, but like his want to pop right off and almost damn near, and I just knocked a bunch of shit over. But his ankle peg is almost too big for the peg itself. So it'll peg in, but once you start moving it around, it wants to constantly come off. And it gets really frustrating when you're trying to get him into a specific pose. He wants to kind of break that pose and set that foot loose. So, foot loose. Sorry. Put on your Sunday shoes. Sorry, I can't help myself. As far as his articulation goes, I'm just going to kind of go through articulation with him, just because it's pretty much the same across the board as far as articulation, and the only difference in range of motion is, which I'll show with Solitaire, is the torso. Everything else is pretty much the same as far as range of motion goes. But the head can go up, and that's even with the hood on, so really good range of motion in that hinge joint. The head can also go down. The head can't really tilt side to side, but we got a little bit of jive turkey up in here. Just a little bit. Arms go up, they go down. You can do a full 360 in the arm if you needed to. He does have a bicep swivel, and the bicep swivels on these sleeved arms are a lot tighter than the non-sleeved arms, which I'll just show on him really quick. These are a lot more fluid as far as that's concerned. The does have double jointed elbows. I'm just going to take the hand off because it's going to keep falling off anyway. And you can get that full extension all the way down. So pretty good. I want to say Marvel Legends level of goodness right there. The hands can swivel. Get that back on there. The hands can go up and down, and if you rotate the joint like a figure arts figure, down, press it down, and then rotate the joint, it can also go side to side. So let me just do that, and now if it'll stay on there, it'll go side to side like that, just like a figure arts. And I wish kind of all figures had that joint. I just think it makes more sense than just having it one way or another. Being able to turn that, swivel it, I mean, there's so much more options that you can do with this kind of joint as opposed to just one way or another. So I prefer the figure arts joint. He does have a diaphragm joint right here, and it can swivel. It can crunch back all the way back, and that's all the way back right there. Get his arm looking properly. So that's pretty good back. There's a little bit of a hole right there showing, and that's far forward, and there's a little bit of hole showing as well. The waist can swivel separately on its own, just to show you that. And it's getting a little stuck on mine, but the splits, I mean, if you got a ninja, you need him to do splits, right? It's like a necessity, especially if he's doing a high kick, a straight high kick. You're going to want him to be able to do that split. When you do get your figure, these, like I said, the hip joints are extremely tight on the ball peg joint connecting to the actual leg joint. So just try to, by loosening that up, just try to rotate it as much as possible and get it out to him doing the splits. And that does actually help the ball joint kind of work itself and loosen up. But no issues with that. The upper thigh swivel is loose on both legs. Not a big fan of that. He does have double jointed knees on there. And just to finish up with that leg articulation, he can go forward about that far. That's maxed out. And then back. And you already saw the splits. He does have a boot cut right there, which is nice. He can point the toe. That's maxed out right there. He can also point the heel. And if I do it on this foot, the foot will fall off. But he does have ankle pivot as well, and 2 peg holes at the bottom of his feet. So good range of motion. I want to say it's good, solid range of motion. It's very similar to a Marvel Legend. I want to say it's actually probably got a little bit better range of motion than some Marvel Legends. Not all Marvel Legends, but some. I mean, if we wanted to pose him really quick, we could just get him into a seated pose. Let's say he's trying to meditate. Or just he's in front of his, let's just say his sensei or his whoever. He's taking instruction. You just kind of want him to be, yes, master. Yes, my master. You know, just got, oh, and then his hand falls off. He must have been a thief. Alright, so we'll just get that like that. And get his hand adjusted accordingly onto his thigh. And that thigh is so loose, it keeps wanting to kick out, which is kind of annoying. But you could have him like this if you wanted to, kind of just kneeling, seated. Or you could do the, you know, the hand just, I'm telling you, man, these hands, they just want to fall off constantly. You really got to kind of hike that up, hike this leg up as well. Get them seated on top of each other so they balance nicely. And then there you go. You have a kind of seated ninja pose there. You could do that if you wanted to. Use tilting to one side a little bit. That's just because the angle of the leg, and this leg is taking up a lot of real estate. But you can get him up there, and that's pretty good range of motion if you have him seated like this, and it looks pretty good. You can also get him seated in the triangle pose if you wanted to. So, I mean, this guy could do pretty good yoga. You know, he's got some pretty good yoga moves if you need him to. So he can really stretch out. You know, he's a good stretchable dude, which I think is pretty cool. I'm just starting to get into regular exercise again. You know, treat your body like a temple, all that fun jazz. So, trying to, there we go. Nice triangle seated position, looks good. And if we wanted to get him into some dynamic posing, we could. Let's just have him kind of just hunkered down here, like he's pooping. We'll do the poop pose. Doing the poop pose, or like he's ready for something. He's ready to pounce. See if we can hold that. Just got to work with it as much as you can. But eventually you should be able to get it, just like that. So it's really not hard to get these guys moving around. And just for a kick, like I said, if you wanted to get him with a kick pose, you could. There we go. You could do that. You can actually get him to standing kick. Okay, and we're back, and I finally got him into a kicking pose. Hopefully he holds this pose. For some reason, these two blue ninjas are just having loose ankle syndrome, and they don't want to hold the pose that I'm trying to give him. This isn't even that good of a pose, but balancing them, it can be a little bit tedious depending on how loose your ankles are. I do, like I said, my thigh swivels on both my blue ninjas are loose, and so are my ankle joints and my hands on just the gripping hands. But I don't know. It gets a little bit frustrating when I have such loose joints on a brand new figure. But he can still do a pose, as you can see here. Nice, good high kick. So there's that. So we have, as far as hands are supplied by the Foosh here, we have two karate chopping hands, which I'm gonna pop this fist hand off and this hand, and we'll go with this guy's chopping hand, and this guy has a chopping hand now too. And so if you wanted to get them into like a ready stance pose, you could. So something very simple like that, you can. Damn, I am terrible at balancing today. I don't know what's going on. Normally I'm pretty good, or halfway decent. There we go. That's a really shitty stance, but you know, you get my drift. There's a really bad praying pose, but it looks better from the side. Absolutely, looks better from the side. Just like so. If you want to do that. He also comes, well, this guy doesn't come with it, but they also have available these kind of open throwing hands. And you get these with the arm packs as well. So if you wanted him kind of like, you know, doing his jazz hands, you could. You know, jazz hands. But, you know, it's meant for like a shuriken throw. So if you got him like this, and he's whipping something, we'll just tuck that hand behind so that you don't see it. You could pretend he just threw a shuriken at you or a dagger or something. So we got two fist hands right here, and we'll pop those off. And I think the fist hands actually fit in the tightest out of all the pegs, which is, I think, funny. So you're really going to get a really good, solid seat in that peg. So he could, old school, put up the dukes. Sorry, I'm a little bit stuffed up today. Feeling a little under the weather today. But there you go with, he's putting up the dukes. If you want to do it old school style. Maybe you want to do some, I don't know, some other kind of stance. You could. If you wanted to do that, you could. If you want to do the Superman pose, you could. You could do that. Does anybody here else do the Superman pose while they pee? Because I do every single time. I do this every time I pee. You know, you go over the fence and then you pee. Superman pose. Pee pee. Sorry, I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but it's just like a weird habit. I've done it since I was a kid. But there you go with all of the hands. So I touched on all of those. Except for those hands, which are right here on him. Let me get these out of the way. He has these kind of like grasping hands. So and they work the same as any other hand. I just kind of wanted to show what those do, what those look like. Also, another thing to note with the open hands. Let me just go back to the open hands for a second and touch on those. They're actually really good for balancing, and you can use the open palm hand or the karate chop hands too for this as well. So if you wanted to get him kind of holding himself up in like maybe some sort of I don't know, upside down kicking pose or breakdancing pose, you could do this. There you go. You can get him to balance on his fingertips. And some of these figures do actually have characters, that the Foosh made some lore for. But to me, these are just going to be kind of like my League of Assassins characters. He's actually going to be the leader. He and his brother are going to be the leader of this little squad for the League of Assassins. And and they're going to battle Batman. And that's what they're going to do. So with Solitaire, all the other guys pretty much use similar tooling. With Solitaire, though, he does have some differentiations between them. The wraps on his legs are actually sculpted different. And I'll just show you really quick. Yeah, these have like little kind of ties on the legs, where these have buckles. So you can see the difference there in the modern ninja as opposed to the traditional looking ninja. He does come with this modern harness. I gave him a modern harness as well. All of the ninjas come with modern harnesses, but for the most part, I just give them that old kind of bandolier look. On Solitaire specifically, he does come with this, I guess you could call it a utility belt with a gun and a silencer. And he also comes with gloves, different style gloves from the other ninjas. Most of the ninjas don't come with gloves, though, so he's got kind of a unique look and feel. His balaclava is the same sculpted balaclava. It just has a skull painted on it, jaw of a skull on it. The goggles are removable. You can take them off the head if you wanted to. And he does have black eyes with red pupils. He also does have kind of like a gray wash going throughout the black, which is a really nice touch as far as that is concerned. You can bring the goggles down. I mostly just keep the goggles kind of trained down. He does come with these two swords. I don't think he comes with, I can't remember if he came with anything else. I have to check out his accessories. But you could take the gun out and disassemble it as per the Hush Puppy / silencer / neutralizer, whatever you want to call it. It does fit directly in his hand. He does have a trigger finger as well. Just kind of have to play around with that trigger finger because it doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't like to seat in there right away easily. You kind of have to get something to pry it in there. But once it's in, and that works really well. I think it's pretty cool. I feel like maybe if he would have came with a couple other weapons, it would have been nice as far as firearms go. Maybe just like one other gun. That would have been pretty cool. But I think for the most part, I mean, he's got his two swords here, and he also has, like I said, the pistol, which I think is, you know, makes sense for a ninja assassin if you're trying to have him as a silent but deadly, you know. And the silencer does fit right into that little pouch on the front, and then the pistol itself does also fit in the side. The pistol does kind of remind me of like maybe like a SIG P226. So we could go with that if you wanted to, if you're a gun fan. It's one of my favorite guns ever made, is the P226. I hope to own it one day. To get the hands out of here, there's also commas that are available with some of the figures. There is this piece. I'm not sure what this is called, scabbard or whatever it's called. They also come with daggers, which I gave to his brother here. So there's that. But I think for the most part, each ninja comes with one dagger, including the armor builder guys. There is some hair here, which we'll get to in a minute. But there's also, for the white ninja, it came with the Shokin head. And I'll just kind of move him back here for a second, and we'll bring him in. And if you wanted to pop this off to take a look at what it does look like with the hair and the head on, that's what he looks like with it on. I'm not a big fan of this kind of anime-ish hair. I'm not a big anime fan either. So, yeah, I know it's probably blasphemy for some people because they probably love it, but it's just never been my cup of tea. Not really feeling that. It's not my style. Anime stuff. So I think the hair's a little bit got too much going on. It's like too puffy on the head. It looks a little ridiculous. I just don't think it really fits the, I don't know. I guess if you're going for an anime look, it works perfectly, but I personally just don't really care for big, ridiculous, puffy, poofy hair or Dragon Ball Z hair. It just looks stupid to me. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. But they does have nice paint shading going throughout the hair. So that's nice. That's cool. The white ninja also comes with a wrapped head as well as the balaclava head. And they do have white eyes, all of them. Or green eyes, excuse me. It comes with a hood as well as a down hood. So if you want to put this on his neck, you could. And he comes with the modern harness. You're going to have to remove both the arms for the modern harness, just an FYI on that. And I can just show you really quick how that works. Let's just get him standing up, please. Please and thank you. Don't fall over, for the love of God. So you'll have to remove the head, and you have to remove both arms. And this is how you can put on the arms, the red arms that I got him. You can also buy a white arm set. Remove that, and then what you want to do is, best way to do this is just kind of gently slide it over the body, over the torso. Make sure that piece is behind him, and it really doesn't take long to do this at all, like at all. So a lot of people were complaining about, oh my God, it's really hard to do, and blah, 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 and I'm like, it's not hard. It literally takes, I don't know, 30 seconds to do. Done. So that's how you get the modern harness on. Parts of these figures are modular, which is cool. I like that. I don't really think this modern harness, excuse me, as I try to talk properly, fits the classic look. I think it looks really good on Solitaire over there. I guess you could make it work if you wanted to. If that's you prefer the modern harness, go for it. But for these guys, I think I'm just going to simply go with the bandolier, kind of cross sash here. I'll go with that right there. But decent paint apps on them. I don't really have too many issues with any of the paint apps or anything like that. I do want to say, like I said, the accessories work well for the figure. And I don't know. That's pretty much it for the the ninjas here. I know I went a little bit more in depth than I normally do, But there was a lot to say here, I guess, with these, and just want to give a heads up on some of these figures. I'm going to move on to the martial artist next because there's a little bit more uniqueness there. Okay, and we're back with the martial artist, and this is just one of the martial artists here. I did, I do have him bald. I just feel like it fits the character a little bit better than putting this hair on him that he came with. Now there is a hollow peg hole right there in the head, which is kind of ugly, I'm not gonna lie, but I think it looks a lot better than, I don't know, this hair. I'm just not feeling this. I think it looks just too much. It's just too much. It's a bit ridiculous, like the bangs and then the Dragon Ball Z hair. I just not feeling it. I can take him a little bit more seriously with the bald head, I guess. I think he looks a little bit more like, I don't know, Sagat, or just like more like a intimidating force with a bald head. And, you know, I don't know, just the Dragon Ball Z hair does not intimidate me. I don't know, it just looks silly. But he comes with hands, so he comes with these kind of karate chopping hands. And then he also comes with a couple other unique accessories, which is pretty cool for the most part. He comes with these two billy clubs slash, I guess you call them nightsticks, or I'm not sure what the technical term for them is. I'm sure somebody in the comments will actually me and let me know exactly what these are called. But that's pretty cool that they come with that. So that makes them a little bit more unique. Also with the gi he also has on. It looks pretty cool. He also comes with this spear, and I'm sure there's another technical term for this other than spear, and I'm sure someone will actually me about that in the comments, excuse me, also. But cool thing about that is you can take these hands off if you want to, right? And you can put the dreaded gripping hands on if you want to. And they're actually a little bit tighter on this guy, the gripping hands, so it's not too bad with these. And then you can put the billy clubs in his hand as well if you wanted to. Let's just put one up and put them both kind of going like this, one out, right? And then we'll put one in. Hopefully the hands don't pop off while I'm doing this. And the popped off. Okay, of course. We'll just have to put you down. You can see a little bit of my levels of frustration with when I'm playing around with these. Just the hands constantly popping off really does get tiresome at times. But, I mean, you could get him in a nice ready stance here. There we go. And now he's ready for action also. He's ready to whoop some ass. You know? He's ready to go. There you go. He's ready to go. The one thing I did notice with mine in package, it came straight out of package and it's already starting to rip right here on the side of the gi, which is not fun. Not fun at all. So that has me worried a little bit because this is more of like a rubbery plastic, and if this continues to split, that's pretty much it for the top half. You can remove these gis. They are a little bit more of a difficult thing to do than just the modern harness. You have to remove both hands, the head, and you have to slowly kind of bring it up over the torso. And it gets tight around here, and I'm not going to do it. I was going to do it for you guys, but I don't want to split this even more, and then it's just ruined. And now this guy goes for like $40 again. So I'm not willing to spend another $40 to get him. I'm just going to kind of leave it alone. I think it's pretty cool. I like the way it looks. This is actually a character that they did create. Same thing as Shokin. This is Shokin as a ninja. Shokin also comes as a martial artist, I believe. Same thing with Solitaire. Solitaire has actually got two different versions. He's got his martial arts version, which is the evil master or something like that. And then he also comes as the Ronin samurai character. And then this is his modern look as a ninja. So this is Skakit. I think Scott. I can't remember what his name is. His name is Socket. Socket. Sakit. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I say shit wrong all the time, so I apologize ahead of time. But yeah, so he can hold both of those. Like I said, his character is actually a crime boss. He runs a martial arts studio, I think, or business during the day, and then he's a crime boss at night. So I guess think maybe he's kind of like an asshole. This guy, but he does come with this spear, which I know it's probably not called a spear. Someone's gonna let me know. I just can't wait for that moment when someone lets me know that I'm wrong with something. It's just wonderful. It's a wonderful moment in my life every time. But yeah, so he does come with this. I think it looks good. I like that he's got a little differentiation from the rest of the group here. I don't know what this pose is. I'm just kind of doing stuff with stuff in my hands. His range of motion's halfway decent. The head can go all the way up like that, and it can look down like that. It cannot really tilt side to side. I guess you get a little tilt with the bald head. And he's got some jive turkeys up in here. Arms go up, down, full 360 rotation in the arm. He does have a bicep swivel, which is right there. He does have double jointed elbows. And for having a karate gi sculpted on there, the elbows kind of look a little wah. But doot. But it's okay. It's the sculpt of the gi that's kind of getting in the way there. But it's nice to have double jointed elbows there for him. Actually, I thought there was going to be a forearm swivel, but there is not. There's just a wrist swivel and a hinge that goes up and down, and it's got that figure arch, so it can go side to side as well. He does have a diaphragm joint, but it's very hindered due to the gi. He can crunch forward. He can crunch back. You can see that gapping issue right there. It's the same thing on the back portion. He can swivel his waist. He can also do the splits. And there are cuts on the side of the gi, so he has a little bit extra room. Legs go forward, both of them. And they go back a little bit. Upper thigh swivel. He does have a double jointed knee. He does have ankle pivot on both sides. Points to toe, points to heel, 2 peg holes, and all that jazz. He also does have a ankle swivel, which is pretty cool to note. So that's pretty nice. I like that. Ankle swivel. So, I mean, he can get into really good poses if you need him to. So, nothing to worry about there. He can kneel if you need him to kneel. He does have bare feet, which is pretty unique for the mold. I like that. You can get him to kneel. Like I said, same kneeling pose. That kind of like master's speaking. Sensei is speaking, excuse me. Pay attention, There you go. There you go. He can kick. And I'm not touching him. I'm not holding him. He's on his own. Not doing shit. I'm not a magician. It's not an illusion. He is just holding up his own weight. So there you go with that. These figures are fun. They get a little bit frustrating over time. Just kind of when you're playing around with them, they definitely have some loose joints to them, and it gets a little bit annoying trying to, pose them when you have loose joints all over the place. But I think for the sale price, I would say it's definitely a really good recommend. And for the sale price, I would give it definitely a 2 thumbs up here. 2 thumbs up for the sale price. I would say regular retail price. I would say wait for a sale. I can't justify paying $40 for this guy, that's what he's going for again. I got him for $23.99, but if you still want to pay the $40, go for it. It's your money. It's not mine, but I would definitely not recommend that you do that. I would wait for that sale and I think that would make a lot more sense for your wallet, your budget. If you're not on a budget and you have liquid funds, and I guess I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking mostly to people that need that budget buy. So hopefully, I did see that the sale items for these two Blue Ninjas were out of stock. I think they took them off the site, so they're no longer available. But I'm going to be using these guys as my League of Assassins. I don't know. I kind of tempted to use him for something else. I don't know what I'm going to use him for. But yeah, I don't know. I still think they're fun figures. I just think they're a little bit too much. When you get into that $40 price range, that's half a Mezco figure right there. At the time when these came out, they were still kind of in figure arts territory, ranging anywhere from, what was it, 30 to $60, depending on if you got a deluxe figure with a roof stand and all that jazz. But I didn't pick up any of the deluxe ones for 60. I just thought that was way too much. But when these are around the same price point also as a Mythic Legion, and I think the sculpts on Mythic Legions are far superior. Obviously, these guys are going to have better range of motion, better probably articulation, but I think the sculpts on the Mythic Legions are far superior to these. I don't know. This is kind of like I guess a niche market that you have here for these figures. I don't know if they're coming out with new ones. Who knows? Maybe they will. I don't think anything's been announced yet. At least I don't know of anything announced. But I don't know. If you want to buy a couple and they're on sale, I'd say go for it. If you want to just army build a bunch of them for that $11.99 price, I would say absolutely go for it. I think you're really getting a good bang for your buck with that. The articulation's pretty good. Range of motion's okay. Some of the QC issues will kind of mess with the posability of the figures. There's a lot of loose joints in the legs, ankles, and the wrists with the gripping hands. Especially the gripping hands. I mean, if anything, I would not even mind if like the karate chopping hands or the open throwing hands were looser, as long as the gripping hands were tight and the fist hands were tight. If they got those two perfect, I would have less issues here. But because those gripping hands are so loose on those pegs, especially for the ninjas, it's like they're almost not usable because they flop around like crazy. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just beating it over the head too much, but I feel like it's kind of an important thing to add if someone's trying to purchase something. But that's just me. That's what I would recommend. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.